What if the greatest mistake modern life makes is thinking too short? What if anxiety, conflict, and burnout are not personal failures, but symptoms of living without historical perspective? Japanese writer and historical essayist Shiba Ryotaro believed that clarity emerges when we stop obsessing over immediate victory and start viewing life through the long arc of time. His work does not urge urgency. It teaches patience, proportion, and a deeper kind of strength. Shiba Ryotaro was not a philosopher in the classical sense. He did not build abstract systems or moral codes. Instead, he wrote history as lived experience. Through essays and historical novels, he examined how individuals, societies, and nations behave across generations. What made Shiba influential was not ideology, but perspective. He believed that many human conflicts arise from short-sightedness, people acting as if the present moment is all that exists. By zooming out across centuries, he revealed patterns: how arrogance leads to collapse, how humility sustains stability, and how harmony often outlasts dominance. Shiba's thinking is deeply relevant today. In an age driven by instant results, public outrage, and zero-sum competition, his work offers a counterweight. He teaches that true success is measured not by immediate wins, but by what endures. That the strongest actors are often those who do not need to defeat others to advance. His philosophy invites us to slow our judgment, widen our time horizon, and act with awareness of consequences that ripple far beyond the present. Rule 1: Think in centuries, act in days. Shiba Ryotaro believed that wisdom begins with scale. When people think only in days or years, they prioritize speed, visibility, and immediate payoff. But when thinking expands to decades or centuries, behavior changes. Ego softens. Impulses slow. Decisions become more careful. Thinking in centuries does not mean delaying action. It means choosing direction with patience, then moving forward steadily. Shiba admired historical figures who understood this balance, those who acted decisively in daily life, while remaining loyal to long-term stability rather than short-term glory. Modern anxiety often comes from compression of time. Everything feels urgent. Every mistake feels permanent. Thinking in centuries restores proportion. One setback loses its power. One conflict no longer defines identity. Life becomes a sequence, not a verdict. Acting in days, meanwhile, keeps responsibility grounded. Shiba rejected passivity disguised as patience. Long-term thinking without daily effort becomes fantasy. The discipline is to align small actions with a long horizon. In modern life, this rule encourages restraint without stagnation. You plan broadly, but work practically. You resist panic-driven decisions. You stop sacrificing future stability for immediate validation. When time is expanded, clarity follows. When action is daily, progress becomes inevitable. Rule 2: Win without creating enemies. One of Shiba Ryotaro's most consistent insights was that victory achieved through humiliation or resentment is temporary. History shows this repeatedly: defeated enemies wait, recover, and return stronger. True success, he argued, is success that does not require revenge. Shiba admired leaders and cultures that advanced without cornering others. Compromise, dignity, and mutual survival were signs of intelligence, not weakness. Winning without creating enemies preserved harmony, which in turn preserved longevity. Modern life often frames success as dominance. Someone must lose for someone else to win. Shiba's historical lens reveals how fragile this mindset is. Conflict compounds. Relationships fracture. Systems destabilize. This rule applies beyond politics or war. In workplaces, families, and social life, people often seek moral victory rather than sustainable peace. Words are sharpened. Lines are drawn. Trust erodes. Winning without creating enemies requires restraint. It means choosing language carefully. It means allowing others to save face. It means prioritizing future coexistence over present satisfaction. This approach does not mean surrender. It means strategic humility. You advance without poisoning the ground behind you. History favors those who leave fewer enemies in their wake. Rule 3: Humility is the engine of longevity. Shiba Ryotaro repeatedly emphasized that arrogance accelerates decline. Individuals and nations fall not because they lack power, but because they overestimate it. Humility, in contrast, allows adjustment. It keeps learning alive. Through historical narrative, Shiba showed how success often plants the seeds of failure. When people believe they are exceptional, they stop listening. They dismiss warning signs. They repeat mistakes with confidence. Humility interrupts this cycle. It keeps curiosity active. It invites correction. It allows cooperation. Shiba did not see humility as self-negation, but as realism, an accurate assessment of one's place in a larger flow of history. In modern life, humility reduces unnecessary conflict. It prevents overreaction. It creates room for growth rather than defense. This rule encourages quiet strength. You do not need to prove superiority. You focus on continuity rather than applause. Longevity belongs to those who remain teachable. Rule 4: Harmony is a strategic strength, not a moral weakness. Shiba Ryotaro's reading of history led him to a quiet but firm conclusion: societies that endure are not the loudest or the most aggressive, but the most harmonious. Harmony, in his view, was not passive peacekeeping. It was an active strategy for survival over time. He observed that conflict consumes resources far beyond what is visible. Even when one side appears to win, the long-term cost, resentment, instability, fragmentation, often outweighs the gain. Harmony, by contrast, preserves energy. It allows systems to adapt rather than fracture. Modern culture often frames harmony as avoidance or compromise at the expense of principle. Shiba rejected this framing. Harmony does not mean surrendering values. It means advancing them without unnecessary destruction. It means understanding that coexistence is often more powerful than conquest. In daily life, this rule challenges reflexive opposition. Not every disagreement needs escalation. Not every difference requires dominance. Choosing harmony can mean choosing timing, patience, and proportion. This approach demands emotional discipline. Harmony requires restraint, foresight, and humility, qualities that history consistently rewards, even if they are overlooked in the moment. Shiba's lesson is subtle but firm: those who preserve harmony preserve their future. Strength that fractures its environment eventually stands alone. Rule 5: Judge actions by their after-effects, not their applause. Shiba Ryotaro distrusted immediate praise. History taught him that applause often rewards spectacle, not wisdom. Decisions celebrated in the moment frequently reveal their cost only years later. He urged readers to evaluate actions not by popularity, but by consequence. What does this choice set in motion? What patterns does it reinforce? What debts does it create for the future? Modern life is heavily biased toward visibility. Metrics are immediate. Feedback is constant. This creates pressure to act for recognition rather than endurance. Shiba's historical lens exposes how dangerous this bias can be. When actions are guided by applause, they often ignore sustainability. They satisfy the present while burdening the future. True judgment requires distance. Applying this rule today means resisting performative decisions. It means asking whether a choice will age well, whether it strengthens trust or erodes it, whether it creates stability or volatility. History remembers outcomes, not intentions. Shiba reminds us that wisdom lies in caring more about what remains than what is praised. Rule 6. Progress without continuity is a form of destruction. Shiba Ryotaro did not oppose progress. He opposed reckless progress. Through history, he observed that societies collapse not because they change, but because they abandon continuity while changing. Continuity is not stagnation. It is memory. It preserves what works while allowing what no longer serves to evolve. When continuity is severed, progress becomes disorientation. Modern culture often celebrates disruption for its own sake. Shiba's perspective cautions against this. Rapid change without respect for accumulated wisdom produces instability. Institutions weaken. Social trust erodes. In personal life, this rule encourages integration rather than reinvention. Growth does not require erasing your past. It requires building upon it. Continuity provides grounding. It ensures that progress strengthens rather than destabilizes. Shiba teaches that enduring systems move forward without forgetting where they came from. Rule 7. Restraint is a form of intelligence. One of Shiba Ryotaro's most understated insights is that restraint signals understanding. Those who grasp complexity do not rush to extremes. They recognize that force often oversimplifies reality. History is filled with examples of overreaction, responses driven by fear, pride, or impatience. These moments often mark the beginning of decline. Restraint, by contrast, allows time for observation, adaptation, and proportion. In modern life, restraint is frequently misunderstood as weakness. But Shiba saw it as evidence of depth. The ability to pause, to absorb, to choose a measured response reflects awareness of long-term consequence. Restraint prevents escalation. It protects relationships. It keeps options open. This rule invites slowing down reactions. Listening before responding. Acting when timing aligns rather than when emotion peaks. Restraint is not inaction. It is deliberate action. History favors those who know when not to push. Rule 8. Power that needs constant display is already weakening. Shiba Ryotaro repeatedly showed through history that power obsessed with proving itself is often nearing decline. When authority feels secure, it does not shout. When strength is stable, it does not rush to dominate. Excessive display, he observed, is usually compensation for internal fragility. Across centuries, Shiba traced how leaders and institutions became louder as they grew less certain. Symbols multiplied. Declarations intensified. Control tightened. Yet beneath this surface strength, resilience was eroding. The need to constantly assert power revealed fear of losing it. In modern life, this insight applies at every level. Individuals who constantly need validation are rarely grounded. Organizations that rely on intimidation rather than trust become brittle. Relationships that require dominance lose intimacy. This rule is not a call to withdraw or diminish oneself. It is an invitation to examine motive. Are actions taken because they are necessary, or because reassurance is needed? Power that flows from stability acts quietly. It does not demand attention. Practicing this principle means reducing performative behavior. You allow results to speak. You let consistency replace intensity. You trust continuity over spectacle. History shows that the most enduring forces are often understated. They do not exhaust themselves proving worth. They conserve energy, adapt patiently, and persist. True strength does not announce itself. It endures. Rule 9. Preserve human dignity even in disagreement. One of Shiba Ryotaro's most humane insights is that conflict becomes destructive when dignity is stripped away. History demonstrates that humiliation lingers longer than defeat. When people are cornered emotionally, reconciliation becomes nearly impossible. Shiba paid close attention to how societies handled disagreement. Where dignity was preserved, coexistence remained possible. Where it was destroyed, resentment hardened across generations. Modern culture often confuses decisiveness with aggression. Arguments escalate quickly. People seek not understanding, but victory. In doing so, they sacrifice long-term stability for momentary dominance. This rule teaches restraint in conflict. You defend your position without erasing the humanity of the other. You disagree without contempt. You leave space for future relationship, even when alignment is impossible. Preserving dignity does not weaken your stance. It strengthens it. It demonstrates confidence rather than insecurity. It ensures that conflict does not poison the future. Shiba's historical lens reveals that societies fracture not from disagreement itself, but from how disagreement is conducted. Dignity acts as a stabilizer. It keeps conflict from becoming corrosive. To preserve dignity is to think beyond the present argument and toward the future that must still be shared. Rule 10. Endurance outlasts brilliance. Shiba Ryotaro was skeptical of brilliance that burned quickly. History is filled with extraordinary figures whose intensity reshaped the moment but destabilized the future. In contrast, Shiba admired steady contributors, those whose quiet endurance shaped generations. Brilliance attracts attention. Endurance builds continuity. Brilliance disrupts. Endurance sustains. In modern life, people are encouraged to peak early, stand out sharply, and move fast. Shiba's perspective challenges this. He suggests that lasting impact comes from consistency rather than bursts of excellence. Endurance allows for correction. It absorbs mistakes. It evolves gradually. Brilliance without endurance collapses under its own weight. Applying this rule today means valuing sustainability over recognition. You choose rhythms you can maintain. You invest in systems rather than moments. You prioritize longevity over immediacy. History remembers those who lasted. Endurance does not look impressive in the moment, but it shapes the future quietly, steadily, and irreversibly. Closing reflection. Shiba Ryotaro's philosophy does not urge withdrawal from ambition. It urges elevation of perspective. By stretching our sense of time, he reminds us that many modern anxieties are symptoms of short-sighted living. When we think in centuries and act in days, urgency softens. When we seek harmony rather than dominance, conflict loses its grip. When humility guides progress, stability becomes possible. History, in Shiba's hands, becomes a teacher rather than a warning. It shows that what lasts is rarely loud, rarely rushed, and rarely cruel. A meaningful life is not built through constant winning, but through careful continuity. Not through brilliance alone, but through endurance guided by humility. To live with historical awareness is to act responsibly in the present, knowing that what we do today will echo far beyond ourselves.